raise your hand. We can't get to everyone, I'm afraid, but we'll try and get to as many as we possibly can. Vinny, if you'd like to kick us off.
Yeah, Jürgen, a hint at how long you've been here with a Scouse accent there. But obviously, back in 2016, you faced Unai Emery in the final of the Europa League. I just wonder, what step was that in the development of Liverpool to the side that we see today?
I didn't think about that final for a while, to be honest. When I thought about Unai now, because we faced him after against Arsenal, for example. So it was important. I said it after that night. I think that we will come back. Without knowing that we will come back, but in that moment I really thought we have a good chance to come back stronger, and we did. That night was a tough one to take. We played a really good first half. Should have scored more. Scored one more. Didn't count. Can't remember the reason anymore, to be honest. But it was like game number 64 or whatever in that season. It was an incredible, tough season for us. A lot of injury problems. When we arrived there, players only came back a few days before the final. So you cannot really compare football games, especially not when 6 years lie between them. But yeah, sorry. But yes, would have been anything different since then if we would have won that night? I don't think so, to be honest. So I would have loved to lift the trophy that night, but how it is, you have to learn from these things, and that's what we try to do.
And this season, obviously, we keep talking about the expectation that comes with still fighting for trophies on 3 different fronts. When you're coping with that, what also kind of a test did Villarreal represent? Because obviously you've been able to analyse them since we last spoke to you about them.
2 days ago.
Yeah, we did speak about Villarreal.
Didn't we? Yeah, of course we did. Not speaking about it, but yeah, of course we did the proper analysis, and we have all. I had a lot of respect for Unai Emery and Villarreal before, because I saw the games, obviously, but only with one eye against Bayern, Juve a little bit. But meanwhile, I watched them properly, and wow, impressive. Unai is obviously, or looks like, when you watch his team, he's a detail-obsessed manager who prepares for all different situations in a game, and that's what his team is executing. It's really good. Different ways to build up, different ways to press, different ways to react on different results. Really impressive, and obviously Unai is a world-class coach and is doing an incredible job there. So saying that, the good thing about all the analysis, we are not involved in these games, so that's where we have to fit in us then, and yeah, our job has to be, we must make life as difficult as possible for them as well, and that's what we try to do over these 2 legs.
Thank you, Vinny. We've got to Juliet, then I'm after Hans for any more questions. Merseyside after Juliet. Juliet.
Jürgen, you've spoken a lot about every game being a final, how you must treat every game about being a final. But when did that change? Because it just seems to be at the start of this calendar year, 2022, that's been the sort of mission and challenge that you've been on.
I think the moment was when I came back from my COVID break, to be honest. When I watched the game against Chelsea. What's the next game, Brentford? After Chelsea? Next league game? I think it was Brentford, if I'm right. So it was obvious. I think we were 14 points behind, and then in that moment, 2 games in hand, blah, blah, blah. And that's where we just decided, let's give it a try. Because it's easy in these moments, we have big expectations before a season, big ambitions, and then during the season it's okay. We played okay season until then, but obviously not an outstanding season, and that's what there was still something to go for, and it's in our situation always the same. We have to. The main thing we have to do first of all is qualify for the Champions League the next year. It's a big moment, to be honest. I think we did that 2 games ago, if I'm right, after the United game.
6 ago,
Yeah. So, and it slipped through my fingers, what never happened before in my life, to be honest. It was usually a night where I think we really celebrated, but I had to get reminded about that fact, and the next day. So that's big, and that's what we had to try. Obviously, it was not only City in that moment; it was Chelsea in front of us and other teams. Pretty sure, I don't know it anymore. Yeah, but since then it is each game a final. Actually, each football game should be like a final, but it's if you have to make it up too much, then it's maybe not that clear, and then you cannot really behave like that. But since then we behave like that. That's the truth, and so it will not change until somebody tells us it's not worth fighting anymore, and we try.
It just seems like incredible, because I think the only defeat was against Inter Milan, or has been against Inter Milan in this run that you've been on.
Please again.
I think it's just impressive, because I think the only defeat in this run was Inter Milan in this competition.
Yeah, where we had no other chance. That's how it is. We are here because we had the results we needed. So that's it. And we don't have to talk today, and especially not today, about other competitions, because our full focus is definitely on Villarreal in the semi-final. And this is absolutely special to be part of the semi-final. It's crazy. It's crazy, really. It's a massive game. And if you, so many coaches, so many players out there try and work their socks off their whole life and have no chance to be close of a semi-final, and we are there, so we have to cherish it. We have to appreciate it, of course, but we have to enjoy it as well. And then yes, we face a very, very difficult opponent. That's true. They are made for this competition, to be 100% honest, because the way they set it up, it's really, really good. I think there might have been a little advantage in the last two games that might Juve or maybe Bayern underestimated them, but that never happened to us, these kind of things, and especially after these 4 games, there's no chance anymore. So this little advantage might have gone, but apart from that, they are still a really good football team who is obviously wants to make history as well. First time I think it would be the first time that they would be part of the final, which is a massive thing for Villarreal, I can imagine. So, but it is for us it's the same importance. We wanna go there with all we have, and that's what we have to show tomorrow night.
Terrific. We go Merseyside, then we go to Dom, and then I'll see if anybody else wants any more. Okay. Yes, BBC Merseyside first.
Oh yeah, again, you said that Villarreal are made for this competition. Do you see a difference in tactics from their domestic form to their European form?
I cannot understand a lot about the domestic form, but they're 7th in the league, but they won quite a really good run of results. I don't know exactly how it was the first part of the season was, but they won the quarter-final against Bayern, I think. So in between the quarter-final, if I'm right, they played Bilbao. I'm not 1,000% sure, and when I changed 11 times, and they drew there. And now after that, they won against Valencia, they were in the cup final, so which is difficult as well. So it's and then the next one. So they have obviously they now found. Definitely, I feel if the season would go longer, they probably would end up again in the Champions League spots or wherever. But that's how it is. Spain is obviously a very competitive league as well. Up there in the league, there's always the same 3 pretty much, and then Sevilla this year really good. So these kind of things, it's a difficult league to play in and to be successful in. But made for it is just because they have. Una really shows that he has a plan for each result. As long as the game is 0-0, when you're 1-0 up, when you're 1-0 down, more possession, less possession, all these kind of things. In the league, you can see there are games where they have much more possession, then there are other games where they have lesser possession. So it's just everything is there involved, and they're always, if they're not winning, they're close to it. That's really impressive. So that's what I have to say, and that's in the cup competition you need obviously exactly that. A plan for each possible result. First go for it, and then deal with it, and that's what we have to do as well.
Probably, sorry, I'm going to have to go around the room. We've got quite a few. I do apologise. We've got Jordan coming up as well, so I'll come to you for that. So Dominic, then we'll go to the gentleman there, and we'll finish with Carl as it stands. So, Dom.
Yeah, it's 3 years since your last Champions League semi-final appearance against Barcelona, and there just needs to be respect in the way you're speaking about Villarreal. It's clear that you're going to need you believe that there's going to be a performance of the quality to beat Barcelona that night if you're going to stand any chance of it?
Yeah, we need atmosphere. We need the performance, but we need different performance as well because it's a completely different game. Barcelona is obviously that night set up completely different to what Villarreal is doing. But yes, we need a big game. We need on top. We need to be on top of our game. I need to be on top of my game. So before the game and then during the game, the boys as well. So, but that's completely fine because it's semi-final, Champions League. If that would be easy, then something would be really completely wrong. And that's why I can't wait. Honestly, even in this hectic schedule, I'm playing all the time, and this highlight here in a week with City, United, Everton. But if you need a next game to be 1,000% in, then bring on Villarreal in a Champions League.
Fantastic. Okay, last two questions. We'll go to the gentleman there, and then we'll finish with Carl Markham. Yeah.
Hi, Klopp. Sport Brazil. On this season, Liverpool players, 20 different Liverpool players have scored goals. I was just wondering, what does that mean for you? It means maybe that Liverpool can find out different kinds of ways to break different kinds of defensive system.
Yeah, first promise is a wonderful statistic, to be honest, because I never had that, to be honest. That 20 players of my squad scored a goal during the season, which is wonderful because in the world we are living in, I think for me a block on the line is like scoring a goal, to be honest. If you block defensively a ball on the line, it's like scoring a goal, but we don't count them. There's no list for that. And so otherwise, Ali didn't score. Did Ali score this season already? No, but he had obviously a few saves which I count like scoring a goal, to be honest. So no, it's great. Yes, and there are different ways to win football games, and you have to find one. So that's how it is, and that's what we had to show this ability or strength we had to show at the weekend. Because if the first half was obviously not really good, but that doesn't mean you should stop there. No, you should start from there, learning from the first half, try to improve, cause the opponent more problems. So, and then we scored goals, obviously, and one of them was Robbo. What's Robbo's first goal? No, I think he scored before. Did Robbo score before? Come on, it's a question. Did he?
Carl on that.
Great numbers, Robbo. Yeah, well, he celebrated like it was his first in front of the cop. Good. Now he found a way. Maybe he opened a box of the Pandora for himself. So no, it's we have to find a way tomorrow as well. And the next leg. These legs we have two halves to play. One is here, one is there. We know that when we go to Villarreal, whichever result we get tomorrow night, this will be an incredibly emotional atmosphere there, and that's what we have to create tomorrow night as well. That's how it is. So it's nicer if you play first away and you have a result you can fight for in the second at home with your crowd. But who cares? We cannot. That's now how it is. And so we have to make sure that we really are completely on top of our game. Everybody in the stadium, because our supporters are smart supporters. They know and they watch football and they know that we are really strong. But there are moments where we will suffer tomorrow night. Definitely, I know that now already, and that's what we have to be ready for. And there's no need for getting nervous or whatever. That's how it is. And but we can make them suffer as well, and that's what we have to do all together. So this advantage now, first at home, we have to use. I don't know which result we will get. Whichever result we will get, we will work with it and fight at Villarreal, because it means everything to us to reach the Champions League final, and that's again what we have to show.
Okay, just before you start, Carl, Jordan Henderson will come straight in. If we can leave the recorders on the table, it will be dovetail straight into the next press conference. So Carl, with the final one for Jürgen.
Yeah, you spoke about playing every game as a final for so long, and I'm assuming that's just now the expected standard for Liverpool. You have to play every game and you have to win every game. Just wondering, do you ever stop to think what sort of toll it takes on you and the players having to play under that sort of pressure? Or is that just that set that comes with the total? You're expected to win no matter what every game throughout the whole season and next season and season after?
since I'm here, it's like this. We just didn't do it in the beginning often enough, but it was exactly like that wherever we go. Whatever situation you're in, you're good or bad, you won the last game, you lost the last game, you're Liverpool or wherever you arrive. Everyone will fight like it's the last game of the season against you, and we have to fight like we didn't win for the last 12 years. That's the situation since I'm here. Didn't change. It's just like the situation in general gave us this extra. So if you want to do something this year, especially, we should better start now, because otherwise it could be over before it really started. That's it, pretty much. But the situation, since I'm here, I cannot remember. Do you remember a game when you thought, that was today? Nobody cares. So I really can't remember, and that's so the mindset was like this, is like this, will be like this.
Terrific. Thank you very much, boss. Going to head out to Daniel. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you.
No problem. Jordan's going to come straight in, guys. We can stay where we are. Vinny, Juliet, Merseyside again, and anyhow. Good. Let everyone focus. So similar to the boss, we'll get around as many as we can, but can't necessarily get to everybody. We're going to start off with Vinny from Sky and then across the BBC.
Jordan, first of all, just reflections on the weekend really. How did you find another way to win? Your thoughts on Everton's penalty shout and the impact that had, and also your little tangle with Richarlison as well, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I thought it was a tough game. Derby, we knew Derby was always going to be tough. Fighting for their lives. Obviously, we're fighting for the title, so yeah, it was going to be a big game. And there was a few tasty moments in there, of course, but that's what derbies are about, you know. And I think they made it very difficult for us first half. We couldn't find the spaces, we couldn't break them down. But as the game went on, I think it opened up a bit more. Thankfully, got the goal, and then it was pretty comfortable. To be fair, they had a couple of half decent chances, but yeah, overall, I think we deserved the win. And the lads that come on, Luis and Dave, made a huge impact from the bench.
As you say, fighting for so much still this season. Going back to 2016, that you were an unused substitute in the final of the Europa League. Obviously, Unai Emery, the manager of Sevilla at the time. What part do you think that night played in getting you and Liverpool to the place where you are now?
Well, actually, that night always sticks out to us. And I always remember it, just because I can remember after the game going back to the hotel. Obviously, all the lads are disappointed, and you know, you just want to sort of go back to your room, not see anybody, just get your head down. But the gaffer was a bit different to what you would expect. You know, you had everybody downstairs together in the bar area, and just sort of had spent the night together, because I felt as though he knew that this was the beginning and the start of something special to come. You know, as a player, it's very difficult to think that then, when you've just lost the final. But I always felt he was very different to what I've ever seen before, and that night always sticks out in my mind. He sort of knew what was coming in the next few years, and I feel as though he's produced that, and he's proven that was the beginning of something special.
Alberto Moreno was obviously a part of that as well. I don't suppose you've heard from him, but I don't suppose you necessarily need to hear from him to know the test that you faced, given what we saw in the previous round against Bayern Munich. Yeah,
Alberto was speak to him now and again. You know, not often, but now and again, definitely. And they're a very good team. A very good team. I think you've seen that over the performances. Not only in the Champions League, some performances in the league, but the ones that stick out would probably be Juve and Bayern, which just shows the quality that they have. And they have a very experienced manager who's done a great job. So it'll be another really, really tough test, as any semi-final in the Champions League would be. And we need to be at 100% if we want to get anything from the game.
Thank you, Vinny. Juliet, and then we'll go around the room. Yeah.
The one thing, Jordan, that Jürgen was saying before he left was how it would mean everything to reach another Champions League final, but also how you've got to be on top of the game tomorrow night, but the supporters have got to be on top of it as well and try and recreate a sort of second leg atmosphere, but obviously in the first match at home.
Yes, Anfield's always special. European nights at Anfield are always incredible, but yes, hopefully that's the case again tomorrow night, which I'm sure it will be. But we need to perform to the levels we're capable of to get the crowd on them levels as well. You know, it's a two-way thing, but yeah, the crowd I'm sure will be there, and we need to make sure we're there as well, which I'm sure we will be.
And one of the things that Virgil van Dijk spoke about before the match against Benfica was how the things that are going on at this club should not be taken for granted. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that with what he was sort of saying and the things that are going on?
Well, I can't speak for Virgil.
But your own thoughts then with what is happening right now?
Yeah, it's very special. You know, I think what we've achieved so far as a team over the last few years. Last year was very difficult, but how we've reacted and come back from that, I think, is very special in itself, and how we've performed for the majority of this season is very special. But we're still a long way to go, you know, until the end of the season, the games that we've got left. I know how quickly football can change, and people will talk about all the things that we can win, but we know with a couple of bad games it can all be over. So it's about keeping focus. It's about focusing on the next game, the next challenge, no matter what competition, giving absolutely everything, and then we'll see where we are come the end of the season.
Thanks, Juliet. Merseyside for one, then we'll go to Chris McKenna, I think Chris Bascom, and then I'll see how many more we've got, but BBC Merseyside first.
Hi, Jürgen. Talking about the derby, to go back to the derby, Divock Origi came on, made an impact. What's it say about him as a player when he's not getting many minutes on the pitch, but he can come on as a substitute and do that?
Yeah, I thought he was brilliant when he come on. I think his overall play, his goal, everything. Yeah, he does love a derby game, but great lad. You know, I'm sure he'll be frustrated in the amount of minutes that he's got, but when he has got minutes, he's made the most of them for sure. You know, and yeah, I think he's had one or two injuries as well, which hasn't helped. But fantastic lad, great to have around in the dressing room, and obviously great to have around for the team as well. And he came on and produced the goods the other day, and hopefully, yeah, over the next few weeks, he can have another big impact going forward.
Terrific. Right, we'll try and rattle through these. Chris McKenna, then actually Andy Hunter, because they're next to each other, then we'll go further in the room. Chris.
How much of a motivation and is it to do something, because you can do something this season that no other team has ever done, like you can go down as legends forever. Is that motivating you every week when it is big game after big game?
The motivation for us is just winning, you know, and that comes down to what I was just saying before. It's not thinking too far ahead, you know, thinking we want to win this and we want to win that. It's winning every game. You know, every game that we'll go into, we want to win, no matter who it's against, no matter what competition it is. And yeah, you've got to just focus on that. You know, there's always going to be so many different challenges throughout the season and throughout games, but it's about keeping the focus, you know, and not getting carried away, and giving absolutely everything. I know it's boring, but giving absolutely everything every time we set foot on the pitch. And to be fair, the lads have done that all season. And that's what we need to carry on to do over the next few weeks, a big few weeks coming up. Tomorrow night is a massive game, massive night at Anfield, so hopefully we can keep doing what we've been doing and perform to the levels we're capable of, and if we do that, then we give ourselves a good chance of winning games.
Andy?
So Jordan, it's your third Champions League semi-final in 5 seasons. Are you still able to take an occasion like this in your stride, and do you think that experience could be a telling factor over the 2 legs, no matter what tomorrow night's result is?
I think over the past few years, we've gained experience as a squad and as individuals, yes, and I think that can help going forward for sure. You can use them experience in the games that we've played in before in Europe, but that doesn't mean it's going to be easy. You know, it's always special to play in semi-finals, especially in Champions League. It's always special to play at Anfield. That'll never change. So it's about using that experience in the right way, but everyone will be just as much as excited for tomorrow as they were for the first one. and it's another big opportunity for us as a team to put a marker down in the first leg. We need to perform. We need to perform in the second leg and hopefully reach the final of the Champions League.
Okay, Chris, what did you say? Yes, Chris Baskin.
The last few games in City, United, it must feel as though you've tried to crest the way there. I mean, at the level, you feel within yourself, the level has just gone up. Yeah. Recently, I mean, we spoke before the cup final, you said it was a better team in the Champions League, but the proof has been even since then.
Yeah, I think the lads have, again, we keep improving as a squad, we keep learning, and the biggest thing is the mentality for me. The desire to win has always been there, is always there. Every single game, the desire to win is massive, and we know that if we give absolutely everything, no matter what competition, then we'll give ourselves a good chance of winning. And the minute that you're not quite on it, then you're going to get punished, especially at this level. So yes, a big few weeks coming up, but we need to use everybody, use the whole squad as we have been, keep that mentality and that focus that we've had, because every game is a huge game from now to the end of the season.
Okay, Dominic, and then we will take one from Carl to finish. We're going to have to wrap it there. Dom.
Talk about occasions. The manager said something before about peak players go through the lives, and managers go through the lives with not even having the chance to play in the Champions League final. You've potentially got the opportunity to play in the third if it all goes well. But it's you know, you beat. What I'm trying to say is, you beat Barcelona. You needed a massive performance against Barcelona to get through to the last one. Are you going to need a similar performance this time?
100%. 100%. We invested obviously everything into the semi-final against Barcelona, both away and home, and we got our rewards in the end. But it wasn't easy. It was tough. We had to invest absolutely everything, and again that applies tomorrow and the away leg for sure. Very, very difficult team, very good team, very good players. And then this semi-final of the Champions League, you know, they're going to be in a good moment. It's always going to be difficult. So yes, we need to be at our very, very best, and that only gives us a chance of winning, really. So yeah, we do our job on the pitch, and hopefully that's enough to get us into the final.
Okay, thanks everyone. Final question from Carl Markham, and then we'll wrap it up.
Just going back to that Europa League final night in the hotel bar, you said you knew that, you felt that Jürgen knew this would start something special. Did you share that belief then? And could you see what he could see at that point?
I know, because we just lost the final. So it was more difficult, that's what I'm saying. It was more difficult for us as players to see past that night at that moment, because you're so devastated that you've just lost the European final. But that's why it stuck out, because the manager was different. I felt as though the mentality was different. Yes, he was disappointed, of course, but I felt as though he knew it was the start, and I think that confidence then transcends to the players. And yes, then the next day you're still disappointed, but as days go on, you sort of try and use that as motivation to be better, and try to get to another European final, try to improve as a team, trying to be successful going forward. And like I said, that day always sticks out for us, for sure. And it's been pretty eventful since then, so hopefully we can carry on going in the right way, and tomorrow's another big night to take that step in the right direction.
Just quick, when did you feel it then? You know, so obviously you were disappointed about the final, so you couldn't see it then, and as the days went past, you sort of, that subsided. But when was the moment you thought, yeah, we're at the start of something special? I know what the manager's seeing and saying.
I felt as though there was something special as soon as the manager come in, to be honest. Well, I think everybody did. You know, the whole lift he gave the club, the team, the players, everybody really. You felt it then. But it's difficult when you lose a European final. You know, you're so focused on that night because you've been so close. And I felt as though the manager had a very good way of seeing the bigger picture and using that experience to our benefit going forward.
Perfect. Thank you, everybody, and see most of you tomorrow, if not later, at the training session. Thanks.
Thank you. Cheers.
It's about where your dad went. It's about where your grandfather went. It's about